Hi and welcome everyone. This is Lavender Sky Panther. Today is Saturday, August 6th, 2022, and this is show number 164 called SkySlider. It's a collection of images and sky observations happening July 11th through the 26th, 2022. And this is the cover image I've selected this time around. I had an alternate cover slide I was toying with. This one went out for cover. Here's the alternate, just very intriguing thing happening over the skies of Miami. I was going to call that one Skydive. See which one you like better. I am going to just hop right into the show this time around. No words, wisdom, and spirit of the day pages. And I don't even have a photo of the week or photo of the day at the end. So this is a very atypical show if you're new joining. Big heartfelt thanks for being here and welcome to you and to all who are returning. So what we're going to do this time around is just jump into things and see what we've got going on as far as really strange, high strangeness, oddities, and anomalies happening over the skies of Miami in this time frame. And I am just trying to catch up. That's why no words, wisdom, and spirit of the day pages and stuff like that, because I really just want to kind of catch up to present, which I will in the next show, hopefully coming on the heels of this one, maybe by tomorrow. All right, so let's get into things. Here we go on July 11th. This is looking west-northwest. I'm not going to spend too much time on this set of images, the original and then the enhanced version, which I'm going to get to. And for anybody new, the enhancement just means I've worked with some upping or lowering the levels of the attributes of the photo. Like here's an example such as contrast, color saturation, brightness, things of that nature, just to better draw out some key elements happening in any given scene. A lot of times I can feel stuff more than I can see it with the naked eye, and tools like this help us get there. So in this case, I'm not going to belabor this set because there are a lot of better examples of things going on in the skies, weird stuff happening. But in this case, we see that, undeniably something different is going on in just this little pocket of the overall scene. So to me, that can be something, a craft cloaking in there, just generating that luminosity right where it is. It could be any number of things. So when I talk about red-pink color signature popping up too, do look at the description box below just to see what could be causing that. If it's not self-generated, there's also some other things that could be going on. Now, what's really weird also in this photo is B.1. We've got this like stick-like thing with a bud on it. These almost look like plants like bursting up out of a mound of dirt. But look at it. One's going straight up and one's going off an angle. Natural clouds don't do that. So there's a lot I'm going to point out. I call it strange cloud activity in quotes because I'm suspecting, yes, cloak and craft happening all over these scenes I'm about to show you. Now, I'm calling the cloaking material plasma. I'm just referring to that as my go-to, meaning something that's heavier and denser that can really cling to objects and in the atmosphere better than just like water vapor. So could it be something else? Sure. But that's just what I'm going to refer to it as. All right, now we're looking to the west after 8 p.m. We've got a straight angle here, and these two things just caught my attention because they're vertical and strange. These are not typical cloud formations of living here on this planet for many, many decades. These were never a thing. I just started noticing these kind of fan-shaped, wedge-shaped things pop up extremely low in the atmosphere here in the sky. More or less around 2015, 2016, I first noticed them. They're very strange, and again, not typical to this area of the world that I know for many decades. So anyway, that caught my attention right off the bat. There are also a pair of them, like a companion pair. If anything, even just seeing one is odd, but two next to each other at the same altitude is really strange. So that on top of looking at B, I start to see these shapes forming, okay, and they do look like craft kind of poised or sitting on the rim. Why do I say that? I have plenty of other shows showing you craft, even more developed, sitting on the rims of these clouds. So I know to kind of watch for that type of activity. And here we go. At B.1, we see them getting more and more developed. So this looks like a wedge shape, like a triangular shaped craft to me. This looks like a hollowed out tube, kind of like a half tube sitting there. This could be all one thing or two different crafts sitting side by side, almost like you might see if you're in Florida. State troopers might sit in the median on the highways. One will face this way, one will face the other. They can talk to each other and they can watch if anyone's speeding on either side. That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, we have something altogether different happening over at 8.1, which I'm not going to get into too much, but I know there's a cloak and craft activity happening up here too. And then we're going to look at C and D because there start to be some triangular, rigid triangular forms and other things kind of clinging to the edge of this thing. So that's why I say artificial craft is happening all over the place, cloak and craft in there. So here we're going to zoom in on that B.2, at the wedge shape this way, kind of like the hollowed out half tube going this way. and some extra enhancement, you know, shows there's like a V shape down here, notched shape, and then like a rounded shape here. And then this is even looking more and more metallic on the top, like some kind of molded metallic material. See what you see in that scene. And then we look over here at the edge, the profile of this wedge, and I just started to see really pronounced geometrical shapes, you know, triangular forms, triangular even back in here. And so with enhancement, I just put very crude, rough sketch lines of where I'm seeing the shapes. And then, and there are more I didn't get to. There's like a triangular form here as well. But I left this one without any lines so you could see this straight edge where my cursor is going down. And it looks like some plasma or cloaking materials kind of hugging around it. You know, that's what we're seeing. Well, I forgot to mention I am recording outside today, so you might hear weird barking, planes, helicopters, just wild and crazy neighbors, whatever. They don't belong to me. I can't control them. Just so you know, we might be hearing that in the background, and hopefully it's entertaining, whatever we hear. Okay, now what's also notable about this slide is look at this warm tone in the middle. And again, to me, this is something self-generating, because all around the outside it's like bright white. And just, you know, the warm colors contained within these two wedge shapes I was showing you. All right, we're going to keep moving through because there's a lot to cover. And there'll be another show coming right up, hopefully by tomorrow. So anyway, now we're looking east. Now keep in mind, this is well after sunset at 8:15. So there should be no beams of light generating from the eastern horizon, okay, in a normal world, quote unquote. And here we have this, what's supposed to be the moon over here at A. I could see that with the naked eye. And then I started looking at the origin of this beam and saw something notable happening down here. So with enhancement, we really see there's some kind of object back down there, and we see these pink beams, another little, you know, thinner beam happening here. I'm not sure what's generating those. I just know that those should not be happening at the east when we've got the sunset already having happened, you know, behind me, diametrically opposed to me in the west. And I'm sorry, this slide, I got it right here. It's looking east. I forgot to update it. This is still looking east. I didn't get all these tags updated, unfortunately, this time around. Anyway, we're going to zoom in and look at B because it really started to intrigue me. So B.2 is just zooming in original. B.3, zooming in with some enhancement. I'm taking all colorways just so we can focus on shapes and things. And look at this swath of a vapor trail. It looks like this chunky thing is an object, and it just came zooming from, you know, left to right here with its little trail left behind. It's looking like a big marshmallow. So we zoom in and look at, we got shadow behind it. We got a straight edge here, like a very clear cylinder. And so we're going to look at it even more with extreme enhancement to see. Look at this, we get a different signature popping out white while everything else has a color. So to me that says absolutely there's some kind of object hidden, you know, within all of this vapor and whatever else plasma cloaking around it. Now we're going to go to a different scene, different part of a different day and look west. And, oh, hold on one second. Sorry, I had to catch my breath. And we start to see something different, kind of sitting here, perched here, you know, with a very different quote-unquote cloud system happening beyond. So these are trying to be cumulus clouds, but they're extremely low in the sky. And this is, you know, kind of masquerading as a cumulus cloud, but it really isn't because you can just see how disintegrated and deteriorated that is. So to me, this is all artificial cloud assembly here. And this is some type of engineered craft cloaking. And I take all color away so we can really focus on that's a totally different animal, so to speak, than everything happening around it. And we zoom in and we can still see it, that it is. And with a little more enhancement, we see a clear line here. So that's absolutely an object hiding in there. Now we're going to look to the west, and what caught my attention was how perfect and parallel to each other these things are. So also it looks like a totally different artificial cloud system here, almost like these are perched in and riding in on a wave of artificial cloud activity. And so I'm going to say that these two at A and B are absolutely cloak and craft, because even the way the edge here, it's frayed and disintegrated, that's not normal clouds. So that's artificial right off the bat. And it tells me there's something hiding in there. And in the way it's just poised on the top of whatever this stuff is, again, that's not natural cloud activity to this area. And I know this area for many decades. See what you think is going on. All right, this is just strange looking north. You know, we've got a really straight bar-like element and something totally different happening above. So when we look at the right-hand side, we do see that something looks like it swooshed in here, this kind of more golden stuff. Looks like there's a very rigid object kind of sitting in the foreground here. And what this is doing, I don't know. Is this bar-like thing some type of craft? Or is that a decoy or like a red herring to what the real craft is right here? Because this looks very ellipsoidal to me. Or is that kind of some kind of hole and stuff is rushing in toward it? I don't know, but see what you think. Yeah, it looks like a little object could be sitting right here too. Anyway, if you have any fun, fantastical ideas, or any of this is grounded in logic or science of what you're seeing, by all means let me know in the comment section below if you want to. If not, no big deal. Alright, now this is looking off to the north, and right away I see an exact triangular shape, which does not happen with natural clouds, and I see this burst, these trajectories coming off of here, like things are launching up out of this, whatever this is. You know, that's again looking very artificial, cloud-wise. Then we've got some other darker object looming and kind of masked by other particulate happening in front of it here. So with enhancement, this is what we see. Some dark object happening back in here, or several. And then we have like a teardrop shaped form, a darker form behind all of this stuff. And we have something absolutely shooting up out of here. And absolutely a triangular form, no way around that one. And we're going to look at it with some different enhancement, with different color wave, just to see what we're dealing with. And there's even like a stick-like shape here. These get really dark. You know, something's going on. This is like a perfect curve. So I'm going to say we got cloak and craft going all over the place. What is this doing? Is it shooting missiles? Are these just craft just emerging up out of this thing, shooting up? I don't know. See what you think. What kind of story is going on here? All right, then we just put our gaze and attention over to the east-northeast, and this was looking really strange. So again, we've got this large cloud form. Looks very rectilinear. You know, very low in the sky, doing its own thing, pitched on an angle while everything else is doing something else. So that's a dead giveaway. That's not a typical cloud. We look to the right-hand side. It also kind of carried a cyan signature to it, glowing in the background. You can't see it on the original, but it really pops out on the enhanced version. So we've got like a straight line coming down here. Something's kind of hiding in this whole mess. And then it gets really funky, really strange down toward the bottom. Gets like vapor, hazy. You know, we start to see some like a rhombus shape in the background, maybe like a fish-like shape here with the tail up here, you know, like a pointed ellipse or something happening. It's just too strange to really see what's going on. Even here, look where my cursor is. This, when you look, there's a very well-defined, perfect circle happening, you know, the edge right here. So there's all kinds of stuff tucked into this huge column that I'm going to say is cloak and craft. Now we're going to look to the west, and this gets really weird. So there was like a perfect circle, looks like the artificial sun or a projection of it or some other artificial body in front of an artificial sun, and that whole assembly is concealing our natural sun, which would be more golden and warm light going on behind somewhere. But then we look at the enhancement, and I can't even tell you what the hell we're looking at here. We've got weird punch-outs. We've got weird color signatures happening beyond, so it's like a pink, a rose pink. Well, this is more bright white, like hot light. And this is like an opening, like the end of some kind of jet, like a little tube or something. Really weird. Looks like this is a standalone object flying in here. Let me know what you think if you want. Oh, and then we got like these fingers. Oh, this is actually pretty freaky. If you look at this, if you go here with me, there's a tree in the foreground. But if you look right here, I'm starting to get a little freaked out. It looks like a hand that either has 4 fingers, like a thumb, like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5th one back here. Almost looks like a hand with fingers, like reaching out this way. Anyhow, see what you find in here. All right, now this is the original for the alternate cover slide, and I just saw this weird shape, like 2 rabbit ears parallel to each other. And again, when it's so perfect like that, it implies intelligent design. They look like they're planted and mounted onto a curved structure. We'll see this better in the enhanced version. It looks like a vapor trail coming down, so like this thing just scooted down and it's just poised right here, very low in the sky. And so here you see the vapor trail. You see these 2 perfect, like parallel ears, I'll just call them, sitting on this dome. So to me, there's also 2 prongs sitting out here in what I'll call the front of the ship, the bow, and this little star-like shaped thing could be like some kind of antenna or radar dish. I don't know. This looks like a side wing of this thing. See what you see there. For me, it's absolutely a craft that's just kind of diving down and then like stopping in the sky. All right, now this is very interesting. At near 11 in the morning, looking east, I saw right away on the left-hand side this dark triangular form being masked over with some cloaking material, heading up toward what is the so-called sun at B, which is absolutely an artificial tech of some type up there. It's too bright and glaring not to be, and it's absolutely not our original warm, yellow golden sun. Anyway, to the right with enhancement, bam, here we go. Look at this thing. It's absolutely a triangular craft, I'll just call it, rising up. It looked like it was gunning straight for to, cover up that bright, obnoxious, glaring ball. But anyway, it's a symmetrical form. It's got cloaking material coming over it. See what you think that is and what's going on there. All right, now we're going to look off to the south. Oh, hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. We're looking to the south, and what caught my attention here was not only the weird, really weird mottled nature of whatever's going up in here with the cloud, quote-unquote clouds, but also that there looks like a trail in size, like something just zoomed through the sky and created this little trail. And then the more we look, this looks like a cutout, like a craft of some type, an imprint. There's like a weird little ring-like thing going on here, a curve, perfect curve happening over here, like the edge of a sky imprint, and something strange happening in here. So we look to the right, and we can see all these things much clearer. So look at this, is like a perfect symmetrical shape. This looks like a cord tethering to a bigger craft, or some little ship kind of zoomed through and cut up and made a trail through this stuff. Absolutely, to me, it feels like a triangular teardrop-shaped craft sitting in there, masked. And we've got a ring on, like the vertical. Got a lot of weird stuff happening here. See what you see. All right, this looks like to me like a craft in mid-formation, like emerging out and getting more and more well-defined, or a craft that was invisible that's starting to come out of its invisibility. But here again, we have a line connected to what I think is craft hiding back in here where it's a little bit darker. And I think there's craft over in here too to the right side. So when we look with enhancement, I see something darker. This looks like a cord attached to this, like a big hose, running all the way up until this circle. I see a triangular form sticking up out of here, a sky imprint triangle here, and maybe over here. Weird stuff happening up over in here. And then, it looks like this is connected somehow into this cloud as well. So is this kind of some weird little docking device that something can come from out of here to it or here to it? It's like a bridging element of some kind. I don't know what it's doing, why it's there. See what you think. I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see this little triangle popping up out of here. Just a lot of weird things about this thing. But there's something about it, though, that screams to me that there's intelligent design. Like even this down here looks like an inverted, straight, trapezoidal shape. And this is a triangle over here, and the triangle here, triangle here. So even one here. See what you think is happening. This gets really bizarre. What caught my attention was the opening at first, straight edges, but then also this like rigid, pipe-like streak coming through it on angle was just really bizarre when you can't see what else is going on around it. So with enhancement, it really pops out that this is some kind of opening, or maybe this is the edge of a much bigger triangle happening beyond. I don't know. So is this thing popping up through some kind of a portal, or this is just a craft sitting behind and this is another craft coming in front at this angle? Jury's out on that for me, but we've got a very rigid geometrical shape here. This comes to a very clear point. We're going to look at it a little closer up. Look at this shape here, and look how this thing is. Something is happening in here. These also look like little machine parts or gear-like things to me. See what you think's happening in this scene. This one generates more questions than answers on my side. See what you think is going on. Something else looks like it's happening down in here. We're going to take all the color out just to see if we can see it in a different way, see if things pop out in different ways to our eye and brain connection. Here we go. We got like a straight line. This is absolutely some kind of engineered part. I can't see that any other way. Is this a part of the end of a long gun or something? I don't think so, though, because this looks like it's a separate thing from whatever's happening down here. But see what you think. It's very intriguing. All right, this caught my attention because we're looking off to the east-southeast, and look at all this wild texture happening up here. This is just crazy. Like ripples on a pool or a shallow pool of water coming down. While these things are coming across and on angle, that's no natural cloud activity whatsoever in this area. And I know this area for decades, and it's tropical to subtropical Florida, so this is not any air currents or conditions we have ever known or seen. Until now, till recently, maybe since like 2015-ish, I want to say. Anyway, with enhancement, we see there's some kind of different craft. I'm going to call it cloak and craft up here. And when I see this kind of blurry, fuzzy, weird patterns, call it staccato cloud effect or staccato, because it's very choppy and fuzzy, even to the naked eye. Now, what I suspect is going on is we have a different, some kind of craft is cloaking back in here, and either that's a byproduct of its natural power source that's generating these ripples and waves, or it's sending out electromagnetic waves intentionally, or radio waves, or sonic waves, or something to disturb the local atmosphere, to cloak itself and possibly neighboring craft. Now, below, we see something totally different happening, even though they're in the same vicinity, but look how different, the atmosphere and things are going on down here. Now, to me, C.1 is absolutely a craft. If you look at this is the bow or the front, of where the cockpit would be, and then this is like the tail area. Because look at this thing. It's a straight edge moving this way, while we have other things moving totally opposite and different ways, and that would not happen in a natural cloud assembly or cloud system. So we're going to zoom in on C, and here's where I'm seeing more like of an overall craft, cloaked craft. With enhancement, we really see that sharp line. No cloud does that. No cloud has a sharp line, especially not an angle. Well, we have other things that are moving across more straight and level. But see what you see in this image. All right, now we're going to look at it's a panorama. It's a tiny bit distorted, but we have the north is, we're kind of looking more toward the north, and west is to the left, and the east is more over this way. So anyway, I just saw something big and looming beyond. It was more of a feeling than actually seeing it, because there's a lot of particulate in front of this masking whatever's going on back here. But with enhancement, we do see there's a totally different object sitting on top of whatever this stuff is, and one sitting on top of it over here. Similar to that other effect that we saw in the parking lot, with those two things kind of like where I said that looked like they were riding on top of some kind of wave. I get that sense here as well. See what you think. All right, now here is the overall photo is itself a little grainy and fuzzy because it's getting really late at night, and my camera phone can't really do that much when it gets dark. But it's enough still to see that something is going on here with these little fragments. I suspected craft happening over here. And so we look with enhancement, and what's really interesting about this one is, see this overall thing at 8.1? It looks like it's still got like a vapor trail connected to down here. Like that thing just blasted out from underneath what might be a bigger craft, because I see regularized holes here, depressions that show intelligent design. So it looks like this might have been like a remora type craft, maybe hovering under or clinging below it, and it just like zoomed out up to over here. Or it just came out of its own little portal hole and like did this. So there's definitely rigid structure going on in here, and so that's what I see. See what you see. All right, now this is a good illustration of, go ahead and take pictures if you have a camera phone out, even if it's getting toward night, but you sense something is there. Because with the tools that you can use, like Photoshop or photo editing tools, like even on PowerPoint has them, you can take this in later and manipulate it a little bit to see what you caught. So here to the naked eye, and also feeling, I sense that this kind of thing curved over here, and there was some kind of triangular form happening in here, and that it wasn't natural. And so with enhancement, here's why I felt that. Something's going on. That's not natural cloud activity. We see a clear triangular depression going on in there. There seem to be a little bit of machine parts maybe happening and popping up over here. Again, I can't tell you exactly what kind of craft or what it's doing, but I feel there's craft happening up in here. All right, this gets really strange too, looking southeast. And look at this. This has perfect scalloped edges on it. And then this is kind of coming up contrary to any other type of cloud movement. It's its own little animal. So is this coming up out of a portal, or is this just creating its own, space around to punch up through, and it's not a portal? I don't know. But when we look at it with enhancement, we're going to see this is not true vertical, but it's more vertical than everything else around it. This is going off at total different angles. This didn't happen in natural cloud system. This is doing its own thing, and this yet again is doing its own thing. This almost looks like that's the head of a snake, and this like hose-like, pipe-like thing has come out of this, whatever this is, while other things are being sent out in all different directions. It's just really bizarre. See what you think is going on in that scene. Then we get to this very interesting view looking to the northeast. It felt really weird. That's all I'm going to say. Just color-wise, there was just something in the air. It just didn't feel right. And then this is so smooth, this like dome-like shape. Now again, we're in tropical to subtropical Miami, where it's really hot and humid. This is not high, dry, high altitude air, not over mountains. Nothing should be forming something like this, and not just that one little thing while everything else looks totally different. So with enhancement, this is what we see. This is why I got a weird feeling Not a negative one, just something felt like it was up, literally. Look at all these hot, bright points where they shouldn't be. Things are self-illuminating up in here, and things are heavily cloaked. That's all I'm going to say about this one. But we're going to zoom in on this little element because it's very intriguing. We look to the left, that's a zoom in. And then to the right with extreme enhancement. This is why I say it's its own animal. This has got to be some type of cloaking craft that's different than anything happening around it, because it also presents, you know, yellow in there while nothing else is that color. So see what you think, as always. All right, well, this is the end of the show. I don't have my little photo of the day kind of portion here. Very atypical show for me, but we'll hit it again. The next one hopefully will be out by tomorrow when I put my usual format in there. Anyway, I wish you all the best wherever you are. Have a gorgeous right now, and I send you tremendous peace and love. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.